One of the best launch games for the Nintendo Switch 2 that you might have missed is Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Now, I've never really been into Yakuza too much, and this is my first time really digging into a Yakuza game, and this is honestly probably the best place to start. That's what everyone tells me online and everything. You've got to start with Yakuza 0, and the Director's Cut is actually a pretty good place to start because, one, you get it, of course, on your TV docked with the Nintendo Switch 2, but then you can also play it anywhere that you want. And there's so much stuff in this game when it comes to content and other things. Shout outs to Sega, they sponsored this video, and Yakuza Director's Cut is now available for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's available now, you can pick it up. Link in the description below. It's on the eShop in addition to stores as well. So let's talk about Yakuza 0 Director's Cut and why I feel that it's a must-have title for the Nintendo Switch 2 after playing it for a number of hours. It's definitely one of the better third-party games released at launch, offering a bunch of new content. Despite it being an older game, there's actually 25 minutes plus of new cutscenes and a brand new online multiplayer mode that you kind of have to see to believe overall, and an English dub for the very first time. So for those who want to be able to have it in English and available, it's there, ready to go. Like I stated before, man, I've never really been too big into the games, and if you're someone who's just starting off, this is once again the best place to start off with. So far, the stories kind of got me hooked because obviously if you love like the old school or even some of the newer like Yakuza type of storylines, this one kind of puts it in there, but with a whole crazy flair and different attitude. I was hooked on some of the cutscenes and everything, but I think the biggest thing here when it comes to this game is the combat. The combat just gets up close and personal. You are going to be smashing people's heads into walls, on the ground. Man, I even think one time I put an orange in someone's mouth and then kicked them or something like that. It's crazy. It's kind of like off the walls overall when it comes to what you can do. Plus, there's a ton of content in the game. So if you're looking for a game that has actually like a lot of combat and variety and just stuff to do, so bang for your buck, like you can definitely get that with this title. And that's what kind of drew me in, especially with the combat, man. Like I can go on about how much fun I had just smashing people's heads in, bashing people over the head with stuff, and just fighting overall with different combat styles as well that you could unlock and even switch on the fly. So I felt that was a pretty fun thing to do in this game as someone who's more of a newbie to the Yakuza series overall. Now, more things that I want to kind of focus on is some of the new content in this game. We can talk about this Red Light Raid multiplayer mode. Oh my goodness, man. This is just wild when it comes down to it. There's some interesting stuff in there that I don't want to spoil overall, so if you decide to play it, you can check it out for yourself. But there are new cutscenes and different things in this game overall with the English dub. Don't want to show everything, but this multiplayer mode, it's going to be you and a bunch of other people just beating the crap out of various different things overall, going through stuff, and it's wild. When I first checked that out, I was like, what am I going to do with this at first when they talked about it? But it's actually one of the craziest modes that I have seen in this type of like brawler game. This is like a 3D brawling type of game. There isn't really a lot of other titles that are like Yakuza 0 in the 3D realm, at least. Tons of 2D stuff, but I think it's kind of crazy in terms of how they've been able to put together everything with this game. Now, of course, if you like the traditional settings of Tokyo and Osaka, the different entertainment districts, the bright lights and all of that, it's all kind of in here and in a 1980s setting. So if you're like me and loved watching old school movies from that setting, then this is going to fit right in terms of what you'd probably like. Of course, you play as a Yakuza lower level tough guy. His name is Kiryu, in addition to Gojo Majima, in this epic crime interwoven drama that really sets up and has twists and turns overall that creates, or more like created, the legends that you see at this point. So when you hear people talk about Kiryu, or you hear people talk about Majima and what they've done and other stuff, this is where you start when it comes to their origin story overall to become legends when it comes down to it. So that's why I was really interested in checking out and playing this game, because I want to get into the games, but this is the place to 100% start. Action, adventure, brawler, cool story, all sorts of interesting combat options and things to do. So for me, I love not just experiencing like when it comes to combat, right? The combat's great and everything, but also having a bunch of side activities and other stuff to do. So for example, you've got bowling in there. There was a crazy karaoke scene as well, and then other cutscenes and side quests. So there's plenty of content when it comes to just combat, in addition to other things that you can do. Now, I kind of want to circle back around to the combat in the game because, like I said, I really enjoy the combat overall. And with the two characters between Kiryu and Majima, you have three different unique fighting styles that really kind of change up how you want to handle the enemies, especially depending on what difficulty you're playing on. On the harder modes, you're absolutely going to have to use the different fighting styles to get through and earn more money each time that you finish a skirmish with different enemies. And the cool thing though is that you can dynamically switch on the fly between these different combat styles. So if you have certain enemies that might be better for the brawler heavy punch style, you can hit them with that. But then if you need a bit more quickness overall, you can shift to another style that's going to get you way quicker movements and dodging. So I think that's pretty cool. You've got all sorts of different makeshift weapons that you can use, smash people into with bicycles and traffic cones and all sorts of stuff. Like I said, it's kind of like this really interesting and cool old school brawler, but made in a 3D like action adventure type of game. You got a couple different buttons when it comes to your punches and heavy punches, kicks as well, but that can change a little bit depending on what fighting style you're in. But there's also a lot of depth overall with leveling and getting new skills and purchasing that and investing in yourself, like they say in the game. So I do like the over-the-top kind of action moves as well. They call them heat actions, and these ones are going to get you these slowdowns, just smashing people all over the place. So I thought that was fun as well. Pretty much leave everything broken in your path. So I love that about the combat. It gives a very visceral and I would say intense feeling. And yeah, you definitely bring the heat with the heat actions, man. So I really enjoyed doing that. And of course, seeing the different ones depending on where you are in the environment and getting different types of heat actions as well. But yeah, like I stated before, there are quite a number of different experiences in the game when it comes to what else you can do. Dancing, bowling, pool, even like old school Sega arcade retro machine stuff and everything. So don't want to spoil all the different side stuff that you can do in the game, but there's so much to the point to where it kind of was like, oh man, this is like overwhelming with the amount of stuff that you can do. But of course, you can go at your own pace. If you want to go through, just play through the story campaign, fight people, you can do that. Or you can just load up on side quests and do all the other stuff that you want to do as well. Now, here's the thing though. I've talked about how some of the exclusive stuff to the Nintendo Switch 2 is pretty cool. I kind of want to go over a number of those as well. So if you've played the game, there's over 25 minutes of added cutscenes that gives you a bit more insight to a story that's already good, but just kind of adds on top of that, which I do enjoy because now I'm getting pretty much the best experience as someone who didn't get a chance to experience it before. Now I actually have more context and a better experience overall. And like I said before, the English voiceover, that's in there as well. And there's a lot of pretty cool people that you might recognize when it comes to the different voiceovers in the game. But they also have other text if you want. You can play in French, Italian, German, Spanish. They've added text support with all of those. So it's pretty cool. Another thing that I kind of wanted to add to the multiplayer mode, which I touched on a bit, this one also has to where you can play with other people, or you can actually play with 3 CPU allies on the same team as well. The enemies just get stronger and stronger as you possess, and I really like that to where it doesn't force you to actually have to play with other people. If you just want to go in with CPUs and play through in the mode, you can do it that way, or you can play online, and that's a whole new kind of experience that's added in that wasn't in there before. There's 6 different challenge missions with 6 different locations and a staggering, get this or not guys, 60 characters for you to unlock overall. So plenty of content even just to do in the online multiplayer. But I will say this, while you can play with CPUs and everything, you can still play with your friends or randoms online. So it's something that I would say if you just want to get in and start cracking heads overall with a cool online mode, just jump into that and start brawling and fighting from there. And if you've got the game chat feature, hit up the game chat. I'm almost positive you and your friends will have a blast playing through this multiplayer with game chat on and just brawling through these different levels, man. It's actually pretty cool. Now, let's talk about how the game runs and how it looks on the Nintendo Switch 2. It is an older game, but they've touched this one up quite a bit as well. It runs at 60 FPS, super smooth, handheld and docked, and it's running at 4K. Plus it did improve the textures, so it runs good, it looks smooth, got the online multiplayer, the new English voiceovers, 25 minutes of the added cutscenes. So there is a lot going for this game. I really enjoyed the fact that it does run super smooth in portable mode. This is the perfect type of game to just be able to play anywhere that you want overall, especially with the amount of stuff that you can do. Knocking out side quests and all that when you have a little bit of time here and there is always something that's really nice with the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. So I've been going through a lot of the Nintendo Switch 2 launch games. I've played a number of them. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is absolutely one of the better third-party games that I've played on the Nintendo Switch 2 at launch here. It's got a lot of cool features and added content to make the experience better, but the fact that they actually took more time to add in more content and extra stuff is actually really cool with the new features and everything. So I do like that, and the first time ever for an English dub in the game as well. The old school 1980s vibe is awesome. I'm an 80s guy myself as well, so I really liked that look and the feel of it. This crime story and of course the gameplay is what shines overall, with the combat and the amount of stuff that you can do in the game with the multiplayer and everything. Playing this game for the first time and having it go all the way back and have the origin story, perfect first place to start out. And of course it's available right now on the Nintendo Switch 2 eShop in addition to in stores. So what do you guys think about Yakuza 0 Director's Cut on the Nintendo Switch 2? Check out the link in the description, more information on there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell for more videos on the Nintendo Switch 2. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.